Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the NGO Whisperer show. My name is Carolyne Opinde. I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer. We are a consulting business that provides technical support to nonprofits so they can successfully impact people's lives. Joining us today from Dallas, Texas in the United States of America is Karen KJ Johnson. She is the founder and CEO of KJ Strategy Design Studios. She will be speaking about building a successful brand for your nonprofit. KJ, welcome to the show.
Hey, Caroline, thank you so much for inviting me to be here. This is always an exciting topic for me, and I love talking about branding.
You are a successful brand strategist. You help companies, individuals, nonprofits to build their brand, some of them from scratch. I have a very important question, and sometimes people get confused between a brand and the name of the business and the logo and so on and so forth. Would you please clarify what the difference is?
Thanks so much for the question. Many times, the reason why we become confused with the word business and brand is because of those that say they are the experts, the gurus, and thought leaders actually ends up using the word brand and business interchangeably. Many times they'll use the word brand and logo interchangeably. So let's talk about the differences. A business is an organization that actually produces products and services for the consumer. A brand is an identity of that business. All right. And then the logo is a symbol that represents the brand. Okay, so that's the reason why a lot of times we become confused, but there are actually three separate things. Caroline, I always like to tell my customers is this: you can actually have a business and not have a brand. And that's where I come in. Because see, you become a business by filing an LLC. You become a business by filing a 501c3, but that does not identify who you really are. And that's where I come in and helping those organizations identify who they really are. Now, what is a successful brand? That's always the magical question. So let's talk a little bit about success. Success is what we say it is. All right. But here are three things that I tell you all businesses, and definitely including nonprofits, must do in order to say you truly have a successful brand. That is, one, you must invoke an emotional connection. You must connect with the very consumer that you're trying to engage with. All right. The next thing you must do is create an experience for them, an experience unlike any other. And then the last thing you do is you create what I call super fans. Those are your customers that becomes really your brand ambassadors for your organization. So those are the three things that I would tell you in order for you to have a successful brand, you must do. Evoke that emotional connection, create, right, that once of a lifetime experience. And then by doing that, you create those super fans. That is a successful brand.
What a great start. Next question. And this came straight from some of our clients, the NGO clients. They want to know, what are the different types of brands?
So a loaded question, because, when you go out there and do your research, you can find really up to 21 different types of brands. NGO is actually a brand. What does that stand for? That is those organizations, right, that are nonprofit, that are also government based. All right. So they have a brand. There's a thing such as celebrity brand. There's a such thing as service brands, right? So there's a such thing as luxury brands. So there's a host of brands. But Caroline, this is what I like to do, because I believe that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So I try to keep it real simple. So I tell you this, there are two types of brand. One is your personal brand as an individual, and then the second one is your business brand. All right. And so sometimes people get confused even about those because as an individual, you can have a business. So how do you distinguish the two? And so what I help you to understand is that first and foremost, before you can identify the identity of your business, you must identify who you truly are at the core. So we walk you through various exercises to make sure you truly understand who you are. What is it that you want to be known for as an individual? And then we move on to the business because that is key. What is it that you want the business or the nonprofit organization to be known for? And that's where we begin telling your story because brand is about your story and why you got started. So again, a lot of different types of brand, but again, to keep it simple, personal brand and business brand.
Now, I would like us to focus our discussions today on the business brand, focusing on non-profits. Why is it important for a non-profit to be branded?
Great question. And thank you so much for asking, because the reason why it's important for you to brand yourself is so that you can strategically, right, meet your goals. Strategically be about your mission. When I think about nonprofit organizations, one of your key things that you are attempting to achieve is to get donations, is to have individuals come to you and actually financially support the organization. And why do you need that? Because as a nonprofit organization, you are making a major difference in the world because you are giving to the community something that they need in order to fulfill their life purpose. And so it's very important to ensure that you are branding yourself because if you don't tell anybody who you are, what is it that you do, the great work that you are doing, why would anybody come? Why would anybody want to support? Caroline, there are 4 things that I tell all organizations they must do, and that is inspire. You must impact, you must influence, and then therefore you leave an imprint on the hearts and minds of the people you encounter. So that's the reason why it's important as a nonprofit for you to ensure that you are branded. Your vision is the ultimate goal that you hope to achieve in the world by making a difference. And therefore, your vision should inspire. It will inspire your donors. It will inspire your volunteers. It will inspire the very people that you are making a difference with. So your vision is all about inspiring. When I talk about impact, we now go to your mission. This is the reason why it's so important that these foundational things are set into place. You see, your mission is what you do, right? How you do it and who you serve on a daily basis. And when you think about that, your mission will impact the very people that you are trying to make a difference with. So you want to make sure that you are making an impact each and every day. You can always go back and look at your mission statement and say, okay, are we doing the things that we said we was going to do in order to impact those individuals that we say we want to make a difference in their life? Caroline, that third thing, right, is influence. And when I think about influence, influence is really around our actions. So again, for a nonprofit organization, that comes down to your core values. What are your core values? Those things you should be standing firm on it. And when you stand firm on your core values, those things, because see, it's an action that the people see and that influences people. They can better understand This is what this organization is about. They are really, right, putting the money where their mouth is. And so you really want to make sure that you stand true to your core values. Now, when you inspire, when you influence, and when you make an impact, you automatically leave an imprint on the hearts and minds of the very people you encounter. So that's what the eyes are all about. They tie directly into your vision, your mission, your core values, right? And making a difference with those you deal with.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is just but a taste of what you will get when you sign up for our branding masterclass with Lady KJ all the way from Dallas, Texas. So she has come in a big way to impact your organizations with a
Yes.
focus on helping you to brand your nonprofits. Next, I would like to know, what are the steps in building a successful nonprofit brand?
First and foremost, you must know what it is that you want to be known for. See, Caroline, so many organizations, right, and including our nonprofit organizations, they really don't want to do this foundational work. You know, they're ready to get out and just go make a difference. But you have to sit down and make sure you are crystal clear on what you want to be known for. What is your story? Why do you even exist? So it's important for you to make sure that is clear. And why is that? Because you need to be able to communicate that to your volunteers, because remember, they will be representing your nonprofit as well. So you want to make sure that you are crystal clear on what your message is, what you want to be known for, why you exist, so that you can make sure that you communicate that and share that with your volunteers. Because this is one thing that I know, Caroline, about brand. You are always a walking billboard. You are always a walking billboard. You have opportunities all around you to make an impact on someone's life, no matter where you are. But if you don't understand really who you are, if you don't understand what you want to be known for, if you don't clearly understand the difference that you make, how will anybody else know? How do we refer someone to you so that you can help them? So you want to be crystal clear about your messaging. The second, Caroline, that I tell people to do is really hone in on their targeted audience. Hone in on your targeted audience. Stop trying to be for everybody. Stop trying to serve everyone. I understand it and I get it, but you have to make sure that you have a laser focus on the group of people that you serve, because that is how you truly will make a difference. All right. So you really want to make sure that you identify your targeted audience, right? And then just a couple of things, Caroline, that I tell us, right? So, because a lot of times we think about that whole image, our logo, our brand colors, right? And our fonts. So let me tell you real quick, those things are very important. They really are. But I want you to know that it is not, it won't make or break your brand. It enhances your brand. So you want to make sure that you do have a logo. You want to make sure that you have a color scheme. And I typically tell you to choose no more than 3 colors. If you must choose more, definitely no more than 5. Okay. And so the reason why that is important, and let me just say this too, in choosing your color scheme, go in and really check and do your research and find out, what does colors mean? They all have a meaning. And so when you pick a color, you want it to represent who you are as the nonprofit organization. Now, I will tell you this, all colors have a negative meaning. Just ignore that. Focus on the positive side of what that color means. Choose 3 colors right? That makes sense, that truly, because think about this. When the consumer sees your logo, you want them to invoke some type of feeling, and colors actually do that for people. So you want to make sure that you are very strategic in selecting your color palette. And then the last thing that I'll tell you around image is selecting your fonts. Okay. So you want to choose, again, no more than 3 fonts. So if your organization, say, for example, may service girls, you may want to use a script type of font because that's cute for us as females. So really be strategic and think about that and then stick to it. Because here's the key: in order for your brand to be noticed, you must consistently use your logo, your color palette, and your fonts. Today, everybody knows McDonald's. Why? Because of the golden arches. The arches are always gold. All right. So, in order for you to be a recognizable brand, you want to make sure that you are being consistent with your color schemes, your logo, and your fonts. All right. So, those are just some quick things that you want to do right in building a successful brand. I tell you, Caroline, there's a lot of information to building a brand, but those are definitely quick nuggets just to get someone started.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned before, and I will repeat it again, this is just but a teaser to what we will offer you when you join us for the NGO Whisperer Masterclass with KJ, where she will focus in on all these 5 things that we are discussing today in detail. And you get the opportunity to also ask her questions and even,
Yes.
time permitting, look
Mm-hmm.
at your brand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
with the NGO Whisperer, we have our colors. We have our blue color, we have our white
Yes.
and red. We
Yes.
use it consistently. We have the different fonts that we use. We actually have 3 different fonts. I know them often. One is Ubuntu, Open Sans, and Anactoria. Anactoria is the one that we use
Yes.
when we want to be a little bit playful, you know. And then we have our colors, and we have a specific place where we put our NGO
Yes.
for a logo. So it's always at the top right. I think for some people might be left, at the top
That's right.
right. And then we have those slogans: connecting people, raising
Yes.
funds, impacting lives. That's our tagline. It stands
Yes.
for everything we do,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why we exist. And now I just want to go into how to maintain it. So once someone has built it, how do you maintain it? How do you
Yes.
maintain a successful brand or a great brand?
Yeah, so you know what? It's always the excellent question because here's the deal. Once you build it, like you say, you got to maintain it. So I'm gonna keep it real simple. You must live it, you must breathe it, you must walk it, you must talk it, you must sleep it. In other words, you become a walking billboard for your organization. You are the number one brand ambassador. So when you set up, when you establish and you build your brand and you say, I am about serving children. I am about making sure that they always have a meal before they go to bed. I am, all about honesty and integrity. So when you establish what your identity is, you must ensure that you are doing that each and every day. Because Caroline, this is what I always like to share. Someone is always watching you. Someone is always watching you. They may not comment on your social media posting. They may join your Facebook Live, but never say anything. But they are watching. And so what I always like to share with us is that when you raise the bar, you got to step into it because I always tell you, right, you never arrive. There's always another level to strive for. And so you have to make sure that you are the number one brand ambassador for your organization.
you are the #1 brand ambassador for your organization.
Yes.
One other question.
Sure.
What about people who hire or ask other people to be their brand ambassadors?
You know what, Caroline, and I'm gonna be honest, I am not a fan of asking other people to be your brand ambassador. And let me tell you why. I'm gonna give you a little bit taste into the master class. There are 5 things that I tell you that you must master in order to be a brand, in order to have a brand for your nonprofit, even if it's a for-profit. All right. And so, in order to, let me tell you what they are: credibility, okay, image, quality, satisfaction, and uniqueness. When those 5 things are mastered, the consumer, remember I told you earlier when I was talking about that successful brand, and I talked about invoking that emotional connection, creating that experience, and then what happens? You get super fans. See, your super fans are your brand ambassadors. And those are the ones you want because, see, they are using your product, they are benefiting for your product, and they are your word of mouth. Those are your brand ambassadors. So you shouldn't have to ask for brand ambassadors if you are credible, your image is spotless, you're delivering quality products and services each and every time, you got customer satisfaction, and you are unique. So if you're doing those things, you'll have super fans, and your super fans are your brand ambassadors.
How wonderful. I cannot wait to go into this masterclass and learn some of these things that you're sharing, because I can already see areas in which we can improve. Even here at the NGO Whisperer, there's always room for improvement.
Yes. Yes.
As we come to the end of our show today, I would like you to give one last message to every nonprofit when it comes to branding themselves.
Social media is huge. And if you're not engaging in social media, I encourage you today to get started. All right. You do not have to be on every single platform, but you need to learn how to play in that space. Social media is very important, right? So make sure that you do that. Even if you just look, I'm going to tell you the #1 place for you to play is on LinkedIn. A lot of people are not really making sure that they're setting up their nonprofit organizations on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a huge platform that allows you to really find the donors that you are looking for. So you really want to make sure that you do that. And again, when it comes to your social media platforms, consistency is critical. Simply identify what is it that you want to share on your social media pages. You don't have to share every day. You can share 3 days a week and make it simple, right? Always educate, always engage, okay, and inform. So those are 3 things that you want to think about when you begin your social media platforms. But again, if you do nothing else, begin working on your social media and definitely get your LinkedIn page.
Where can people find you?
Great question, right? So guys, you can find me on any platform simply by going to Karen KJ Johnson, or you can actually search by my business name, KJ Strategy Design Studio. So I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. So you can definitely find me.
It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you today, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to hosting KJ on the NGO Whisperer Masterclass. Yes. Keep your eyes peeled. Look forward to this amazing session. It's not going to be one, it's going to be a series of sessions because there's a lot for us to learn and to build successful nonprofit brands so we can attract donors and retain the donors. And at the same time, offer the best of the best quality services to those that we serve.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining us today, KJ.
Thank you, Caroline. This is great.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also invite you to follow KJ on social media to learn more about branding yourself and also branding your business. As always, it's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives.